Last year, a winter movie release called The Klaus, and like any other animation movie, I was pretty excited to see the trailer for it. After watching the trailer, when I researched a bit more about the movie, it got me by surprise to learn that the movie was actually 2D animated. And let me explain you why. Here is an example shot I found of the movie. Here you can see that they follow the traditional animation process. First they storyboard, then 2D animate it, clean up the line work, color it, and all of a sudden, this. But how could they go from this to this? If this movie was animated normally, it would look something like this. But instead it looks like this. To put things into perspective, for me to digitally paint something like this, it would take me about 4 to 5 hours. This is for one frame of the animation. And typically in animation, every second has about 12 frames. So that's 60 hours of painting for 1 second. And for a minute, about 3,600 hours. And the Klaus movie runtime is about 1 hour and 37 minutes. So that's about 97 minutes. So if I have to animate in this style for the entire movie, it would take me about 40 years. Yes, that's right, 40 years. Let's say I have 10 animators in my team. So that should make this process ready in about 4 years. Mind you, it is just the painting process. I'm not including storyboarding, character design, sound production, marketing, and so many other things. If you take all that into consideration, it would take this movie to be completed in about 6 to 7 years, I guess. That's a lot of time frame for one movie, and hence it would be a lot more expensive and they wouldn't see their money back. But how did the team of Klaus do this? Luckily, SPA Studios, which stands for Sergio Pablo Animations, has been uploading their process videos online and they have been promoting them pretty decently. I kind of binge watched their entire set of videos. It's pretty clever how they did this. They used artificial intelligence and line tracking algorithms. If you have noticed, in 3D animation, you can see characters have texture on their faces. For example, the pores on your skin, the veins of a leaf. In order to replicate that in 2D animation, they used a software called Mo, and I found this in an article online. If you see this video over here, you can see this is a traditional animation with line work and colors. Using this software, this is what you get. There are no lines, there is natural, fresh looking animation, and it's all done through one software. They use the same technique on the characters of the animation, and you use this technology onto the characters and you get boom. When it comes to light and shadow, they used a software called LAS. And this is the sample animation they took where they add something called cell shading, which is something like this over here. So in a traditional animation, when you use a cell shading, this is what happens. So the shading which you have done in one frame does not get tracked to the rest of the frames. So you have to painstakingly do this literally for every frame. And on top of that, you have to make it so the cell shading matches the previous frame, and that's a whole different difficult process altogether. So using this software, they are able to use this cell shading from one frame, and it calculates in-betweens and gets applied to rest of the frames of the animation. Pretty cool, huh? I was amazed by this technology. This saves so much time in animation and I'm pretty excited about it. So when you combine these two texture and lighting technologies, you get something like this. So instead of spending 40 years to make one movie, imagine making this in one small year. That's still a far-fetched idea, but with the improvement in technologies, I definitely see this happening. One day, one person can animate a full movie in 1 year. If that happens someday, you know that I told it first here. For those interested in reading the article, I will leave it in the link down below. It's called "Here's What Made the 2D Animation in Klaus Look 3D."